First movie review of the year, and not a bad movie to start out with. So The Post is directed by Steven Spielberg and it stars Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks. And this movie is about the Pentagon Papers in the early 70s. Basically, the US government was hiding certain things about the war in Vietnam. The press got a hold of them. Nixon and his whole administration was trying to stop them from posting about it. And now it's this whole thing of should we post, should we not? What is secrecy? Is secrecy sometimes important? So 1 year ago, all that was really known about this movie was that it was happening. There was really no pre-production, no filming. Steven Spielberg fast-tracked this movie because he got a hold of the script. He thought it was really riveting. He wanted to tell this story. And I was really excited about this movie because if I had to pick my favorite director of all time, it's Steven Spielberg. And I know that's not really an original answer, but come on. I mean, like the first 3 Indiana Jones movies and Jaws and E.T., Jurassic Park, Saving Private Ryan. When you think the term movie magic, I think of Disney, I think of Star Wars, and I think of Steven Spielberg movies. And lately, Spielberg has been doing a lot of these dramas. I do like the majority of them. Like Bridge of Spies, I think is awesome. Lincoln, I thought was really good. The Post, I would say is a good movie. I don't think it's a great movie though. But a couple things that do shine in this movie: Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep are both good. Bob Odenkirk, aka Saul from Breaking Bad, he was great. He was one of the standouts for me in this movie. And it's very easy to say a lot of these actors are good, especially someone like Meryl Streep who got an Oscar nomination for this.
Bring them, and I guarantee a child as perfect as child can be.
But they are good actors, good actresses, so at times this movie can feel pretty Oscar baity. There's certain scenes, you just know those are going to be the scenes that they show at the Oscars when they're doing the nomination reels. It's a political thriller about the media. The beginning of this movie also all takes place in Los Angeles. Like second or third scene of the movie, there's this guy walking down a hallway and there's a poster of like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, the original Planet of the Apes, the Blob, and those are some things that get you into the time of this movie because that beginning scene does take place in the early 60s, but it does kind of feel like they're just pandering to the Oscar crowd. And I shouldn't say that's a bad thing, because heck, Force Awakens pandered to Star Wars fans, but they made it work. In The Post, they're pandering to the Oscar crowd, but it works. It's a good movie. Spielberg's directing, I think, really shines in this one. He does a lot of his long takes. He's able to get a lot in one shot. A lot of times when the camera is following a person, he keeps the camera moving, makes the movie feel very alive. I do have some issues with this movie, and one is that the pacing doesn't always land. In fact, a lot of like the Pentagon Papers stuff is like the second half of the movie. The first half of the movie is a lot of personal stuff. Meryl Streep is considering taking the Post public. She will lose some control of the company because of that. Tom Hanks is trying to keep the Post up to date with the New York Times. The movie really picks up in that second half. Bob Odenkirk is sent to go do something for the Post. That's a really exciting mission because that is when you start to get into the 70s political thriller type of thing that this movie was trying to be like, such as like All the President's Men. That first half of the movie though, it takes a little while. And one other thing that kind of bothered me about this movie, it's a nitpick, but it did get on my nerves. It's something that Steven Spielberg has done recently. In the color grading of the movie, he tends to ramp up the contrast. I know, small thing, but for example, there's this one scene where it's Meryl Streep and it's Bruce Greenwood. They're inside of Bruce Greenwood's house. It's a bunch of very white walls. Bruce Greenwood is wearing like a blue shirt. Meryl Streep, I think, was wearing a white suit. Anyways, you have all this white coming towards you, and when the contrast is ramped up like that, it was almost blinding. And like I said, Spielberg has done that before. Most notably, he does that in Saving Private Ryan. Saving Private Ryan is really that turning point I see in Spielberg's career when he went more from blockbusters into dramas. I know he had Schindler's List before that, but Saving Private Ryan does have some of that contrast boosting, like when they're out in the fields. I thought it worked fine enough for the movie, but when you ramp up the contrast like that and desaturate some of the colors, it almost makes it feel like it is just a set, and it doesn't always feel like a real life drama, something like All the President's Men or A Few Good Men. So at the end of it all, The Post is a really good movie. This movie's probably gonna get nominated for Best Picture, but I really don't see a reality where this movie wins. It's good, it's not great, there are good performances, there's good directing, the pacing doesn't always land. As far as the subject matter goes, it's definitely going to divide people, and I think the movie does do a pretty good job, although it does lean heavily on one side. It does kind of give you both sides of the story, but given the subject matter, I'm gonna say the movie is not for everybody. I thought it was cool. From Steven Spielberg though, I expect a lot. So the movie was good, it wasn't great, and I think because of that, it's gonna get lost in the shuffle once Oscar season passes. But while Oscar season is still a thing, I would recommend that you go check out The Post. But if you have seen The Post, let me know what you think of it down in the comments. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys liked it, you can click subscribe and check out some of my other videos, and I'll catch you guys next time.